Hi, I'm Asnith, and today we're going to be making raw carrot cake. Now, if you follow my Facebook page, Seasoned Raw Food, then you saw that I posted the ingredients that I'm going to be using today. Now, this carrot cake does require patience, but in the end, it's well worth it. So, let's dive right into the recipe. The first thing I do prior to even making carrot cake, I soak my nuts. So I'm going to walk you through the ingredients that I need for the carrot cake, but keep in mind about soaking the nuts prior to. Now you want to soak anywhere from 4 hours or more. You can soak it overnight, which is what I do. So for the recipe, you'll need walnuts, and you will need cashew, but the cashews are for the icing. It'll come later. Okay, so to actually make the carrot cake, you need about 3 cups of carrots. And so I usually guesstimate. I take about 3 carrots, depending on what size. If they're smaller than this, I use about 2. If they're medium to large, I use about 3. But you can measure it out. It would be 3 cups. You want 1 cup of walnuts. You want about 2/3 of coconut flakes. You want about 11 dates. 11 to 12 to 13. It depends on how sweet I want it. Because in addition to the dates, I usually add raisins. Now I do want to tell you about these dates. They're not medjool dates. And I kind of choose not to go with medjool because they're more calories and sometimes even more sugar. So I just feel like because I'm using the dates to begin with, even though it's natural sugar, if I can kind of cut down on it, I do. I also use vanilla. For the seasoning, I use ground cinnamon, ginger, and nutmeg. So I'm just going to go ahead and walk you through the carrot cake process. Okay, so first, I waste no time in chopping up carrots. This is a good workout right here. I just break it down, throw it in the food processor. And these are kind of big. I kind of do wish I had cut them now. All right. Okay, so I do want to blend my walnuts and carrots first before I add anything else. So I've soaked these walnuts, I've rinsed them, and now I'm going to use them. So you want to put that in the food processor, and you want to blend anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes, maybe even longer. But because I'm on this video, I'm going to cut it short. But I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like. So as you can see, it looks like this food processor is full. But if you open it up, I still have some room. From there, I'll usually add my dates. Now, even though it says pitted, and pitted is just another word for removed seeds from the date, I check. Because I've had times when it says that it's pitted, and there's a seed inside, and you never want to bite down on a seed. So always double check. So far I put 6 in. I'm going to add 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to kind of do it by taste. Oops, okay. So it's still blending down, and as you can see, it's starting to break it down. But when you're doing a carrot cake, you want it to become more like a dough type of consistency. It's not going to be bread, but it can be smooth. The carrots can be smoother. The dates can be smoother. As I begin to smooth it down, I add the coconut. Now I need about 2/3 cups. You can measure out 2/3 cups, but I kind of play this by eye. And I'm going to continue to blend. And so the coconut has begun to blend in with the ingredients. Do you notice that I'm not adding everything at once? There's a reason for that. It's better to, like I said, add in the carrot first with walnuts. Let that break down some before you begin to introduce other ingredients. Is it taking me a long time? No, probably like 30 seconds to a minute apart to add the other ingredients. So now I'm going to add half a pack of raisins. I want the raisins to sweeten it, but at the same time, as it gets to the end and it's a little more smoother. You know how sometimes you eat carrot cake and there's raisins in some parts you bite? So I'll save the other half of the pack for once the ingredients are smooth. At this time, I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. On top of the 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, I am going to add 1 teaspoon of ginger. Now the nutmeg, I want like 1/4 of a teaspoon. Because the nutmeg can be a little overpowering, so you do not need much. You just want to know it's there, but you don't want too much of it. And then for the vanilla, I usually don't measure it out. I just take the cap and I pour probably half of that full. And then I'm going to blend. Now, if you select, you don't necessarily need water, but usually I may add like a teaspoon or more just to give my carrot cake more of like a doughy type of consistency. Going to say something, but let's just pretend that about 5 minutes has gone by. It has blended really well. It's uniform. The next thing I would do is add the remainder of my raisins. But before I add the remainder, I would actually taste. Now I started out with maybe about 9 dates. I can add up to 3 or 4 more, depending on if it's sweet enough for me or not. So you can do a total of like 13 dates if you want. And then I would add the raisins. I would first do the dates and blend out a little more, and then add the raisins. So let's just pretend that I'm done with that. Come on, raisins. Come out of there. I know, it's weird to talk to food, but it's fun. Alright, so I would blend that more. And if you want, you can add a little more water. So, I don't know if you can tell, but you can see at the bottom, it's starting to have more of a uniform look to it. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so pretend like it's all smooth and 10 minutes have went by. Now there are 2 ways to make this carrot cake. I usually will spread it on the dehydrator. I would usually put a sheet down. Why did I leave that on there? I usually will put a sheet down and then spread it like a cake batter. Or yesterday I experimented with this and this came out pretty good. Now I took a cupcake paper, and I put the carrot cake in there. Now when you're filling the cupcake paper, it looks much bigger. Now before I make the cashew cream, like the icing on this carrot cake, I let this sit on a dehydrator anywhere from maybe 9 to 12 hours. And you really have to watch because it depends on your dehydrator. You don't want it to become like a cracker, which is what happened to me a couple of days ago. I let it go much longer than possible when I laid it in the cake form, and it became like a cracker. It was still good. Another thing about the carrot cake, you may not necessarily need this icing. Now, I added icing because I made it for a friend. But usually when I'm eating, it's good enough for me without the icing. So like I said, I would take it out of my dehydrator, and I can begin to spread it on my sheet like a cake. Or I could take this cupcake paper and fill it in here. Because once this dries down, guys, it's going to be smaller. So I could fill this up like this. And usually, like when I did it, I put it in a cupcake tray so it could like form into a cupcake. As I was filling it, I put it in a cupcake tray. The moment I formed it pretty good, I took it out the cupcake tray and I placed it on here. Now once you blend this down a little bit more, the cupcake paper looks a little messy. So once it dried, I took it out of the cupcake paper and I put it in new cupcake paper to make it look pretty. It's a girl thing. So I'm going to dump that back into there because it's not done. But we're going to move on to the icing. Remember I said let this go anywhere to maybe like 10 minutes or more. You want it to blend to it is kind of like doughy, all meshed together in uniform. All right, so for the icing, let's get it done really quick. I'll put that back on here. Okay, so I soaked a cup of cashews. Let me set up my blender because I washed it out earlier. So you want to dump this first. And this is the ingredients for the icing. So 1 cup of cashews. And then I need almost like half of a lime. And you want to squeeze that into like a measuring cup first. Only because the seeds. You don't want to make the cake and then you're biting into seeds in the icing. That's just like ew. Really, I only need a tablespoon of lemon. But I do like a little bit more of lemon flavor because I'm using maple syrup to sweeten it. So, also for the cashew icing, I need coconut oil, maple syrup, and also a little more vanilla. So just like I measured it with the carrot cake, I'm going to measure out a little more vanilla and dump it in. So like half a top, a small top. And then I already melted the coconut oil. Now you can go, I use probably half. This is not even a 1/4 cup of oil. And I'm probably only going to I'll use most of it. But you want to be mindful. For 1 cup of, I still have more left. For 1 cup of cashews, you don't need too much coconut oil. And I had to melt it down because you can see like coconut oil is so uniform. I had to sit it in warm water. So you do want to melt your coconut oil first. And then I added maple syrup. Now you want to do this by taste. Maple syrup is so sweet. I usually start with like 2 teaspoons and a half. But you want to taste it as you go. Like I said in my earlier videos, everyone's taste buds are a little different. What I consider sweet, you may not think it's enough. So, also you want a pinch of salt. And I mean like a pinch, a little bit. Spread that in there. And then I want to add water. So you can start with maybe about 1/4 cup. If that much, you really don't need that much. You kind of have to play it by eye. So I would say probably like 1/4 cup. Okay, so for time's sake, I'm just stopping it here. I just want to show you how quickly it starts to blend down. And you want to continue to blend this until it's very creamy. So I just blended a little more to give you an idea. So you can see it's becoming very creamy. And as it's going, you can push down the sides because cashews kind of get stuck along the side unless you're pushing it down as it goes. But as it goes more and blends more, it kind of falls down. But see how creamy that is becoming? So you'll blend that. I would probably say maybe 5 minutes all together, maybe a little less. You would have to look by eye. But I'm going to grab the cupcakes I made for my friend right quick to show you. It probably made for me about 17 to 18 cupcakes. And like I said, they're big when you first pack them. And then they turn like much smaller. And I just want to show you right quick. So sorry, give me 1 minute. So I stuck it in the fridge. And I just want to show you how they came out. Can you see that? I packed the cupcakes. So I hope you like this video. If you would add anything, let me know. Also, if you tried and you like it, let me know. This is an awesome recipe because a lot of times when people want to do the raw food, they think, I got to give up carrot cake, I got to give up chocolate. You do not. There's actually a much healthier way to do it. Now, would you want to eat this carrot cake all the time? No, because it does have like fats in it. So you do kind of have to balance it. But it's so worth it. Once you get it down, when a company comes to your house, you can serve it. Or if you have a work function, you can serve it. And the best part about it is that it's living food. So, till I see you next time, enjoy this recipe and have a great day, night. Thank you for watching.